Law is about showing doctors who's the boss. That's the government. After so many groups were advocating for self-referral, in early April, the Liberal government said they would implement a self-referral process. If implemented, which has not yet occurred, problem solved, right? Well, sadly, no. As with many of their policies, this Liberal government is absolutely masterful at creating the right optics to fool just enough people that meaningful protest withers. As I said before, our college still mandates effective referral. So in the scenario where a patient asks me for euthanasia, I decline and instead I offer a centralized referral number. Yet the patient still wants me to refer. They can actually complain to the College of Physicians and Surgeons, and my license to practice medicine in totality would be in jeopardy.
No.
This is what this. Yeah, that's right. And this is why legislation has to.
How come in this case here they didn't come down with a letter of discipline or a little? I mean, that's disproportional to your act.
Absolutely. Thank you. That's why it has to be legislated. That the College of Physicians and Surgeons human rights policy needs to be overruled by legislation. That's all we're asking. Do you want to hear more?
Yes.
Speaking of infringements on, it was a rhetorical question, by the way. I wasn't really new to us. Speaking of infringement on beliefs, the Dean of Queen's University's Faculty of Health Sciences' strong views against conscientious objectors has caused widespread fear, hinting that beliefs on euthanasia would be part of the screening process. This year, Queen's Medical School included in their interviews a scenario in which the candidate was asked by a patient to provide euthanasia. After, there was a series of follow-up questions from the interviewers aimed to reveal the candidate's beliefs on this topic. So essentially, Queen's Medical School is screening out applicants that are conscientious objectors. Ironically, that is the school that trained me to be a doctor in a more open-minded time. I'm deeply saddened, thank you. I'm deeply saddened to learn of such a discriminatory filtering process existing in a country that claims, as Stephen so eloquently pointed out, to have tolerance in its bedrock on everything else up until now. Medicine is a profession that is actually thousands of years old. In its history, we all abided by the famous saying, first, do no harm. In the last few decades, some places in the world have allowed for euthanasia, but suddenly, in the face of millennia of tradition, we all have to be okay with it? Now let me further elaborate on why the law as it stands will actually create less access to medical services, particularly palliative care. Studies show that most people would prefer to die in their homes. However, about 60% of deaths in Ontario occur in hospital. Moreover, Ministry of Health data revealed that 10% of alternate level of care beds, these are beds that aren't really receiving active care, but they're still in a hospital, they're filled with patients that are palliative, and otherwise could be in their homes. Most limiting, it's estimated there are only 500 palliative care physicians in our province. Well, by 500, I actually mean 499 now. I'm part of a group of 6 doctors who visit palliative care patients in their homes in Scarborough, the only group that does so specifically, and we're actually all conscientious objectors. As it is, Scarborough palliative care is grossly underserviced. We reached a waitlist high of 32 patients waiting for a palliative care doctor in their home this March. Imagine being told your days are numbered, you're nauseated, you're constipated, and you're in agony with cancer all over your body. And now you're told you're only 30 patients away from a doctor coming to take care of you. How nice. This number will multiply without explicit conscience protection. Only 16 to 30% of Canadians actually have access to palliative care. This is a right guaranteed in all other countries that have enabled euthanasia, just not Canada. 75% of surveyed palliative care physicians do not want to participate in euthanasia. As an aside, it's estimated that euthanasia will save up to $139 million annually. I'm rather surprised that no one in the media seems to wonder if there is, at least partly, a financial motivation behind the government's zeal to push euthanasia and marginalize palliative care. I'm proud then to be the first to publicly pose this thought to you.
Hear, hear.
Thank you. I do my job dreading being asked to kill someone. Euthanasia is the shadow that hangs over me, even on sunny days such as this one. Can you imagine what it's like to have someone look me in the eyes and ask me to kill them? Right before I presented to Parliament, I accepted my final palliative care patient. While I will not abandon my current patients, I will not be accepting any more until I know conscience protection is guaranteed. I only have 2 patients left, and when they die, I will cease to practice palliative care entirely. Half our group is considering leaving the field of the 6 doctors in Scarborough. One of the doctors is even considering leaving the entire profession because of this issue. It breaks my heart that future patients will have no choice but to either suffer or seek expensive hospital care. And what's happening in my Scarborough group is a microcosm. This law will drive many of the 500 palliative care physicians from this field. All this can be prevented with a simple amendment. So currently, the Conservative Party of Ontario is trying to push a bill through Parliament to explicitly protect doctors' conscience rights. I believe the vote is on Thursday. I'm not optimistic it will pass given the Liberal majority and their consistent refusal to listen to anyone else on their policies. However, I ask that you support the PCs in this initiative nonetheless. Please sign the PC petition online, led by the Honourable MPP Monte McNaughton. In the macro, doctors are losing their human rights to an even more egregious degree with Bill 87, the bill that makes doctors guilty before proven innocent. The Ontario government's vilification of doctors pushes me closer and closer to actually leaving the province to continue the practice of medicine. I'm not the only one. I became a doctor because I simply wanted to help people. I mean, that's the honest truth. I just want to help people. You know, I started off, and my colleagues started off, many of us started off being motivated by love of patients, love of caring for people. But in the last few years, we've had to switch over to being motivated by fear that we won't have enough resources to give quality care, that we will be sacrificed by politicians in the blame game, and most of all, that patients will suffer unnecessarily. But this bigger picture is a story for another day. I want to take a moment to talk about the challenges I have personally faced since taking a public stand in favor of the protection of doctors' conscience rights. I thought that speaking out for this cause would rally the backing of the vast majority of physicians, and it did for about 24 hours. After that, the ankle biting started. Those zealous for euthanasia came at me with various degrees of reason. Some were professional, some were not. This probably made people who were privately supporting me far less vocal about it because they did not want to become targets of the venom themselves. One called the pro-doctors' conscience rights a fringe movement, even though recent surveys showed that 91% of doctors in Ontario support our own conscience rights, obviously. There was a mass email signed by 20 doctors against me and distributed publicly. I've been called despicable. I've been explicitly threatened by both a doctor and a layperson. Now, to be fair, the attempts at bullying, threats, and intimidation are not just about this issue, but about me speaking out vociferously against the dark cloud that hangs over my profession. But when is this manner of interaction ever acceptable? What I've learned in the last 6 weeks is that in the lazy river of life, it is just so easy to go with the flow of things. Just join the crowd, everyone will like you then. Don't you want to be accepted? Or in the words of my high school experience, Mark, don't you want to be cool? Someone once said, the coward dies 1,000 times, the courageous only once. It takes courage to go up against the grain, to speak the truth, and to stand up for what is right. So please support me as I continue to express my love and passion for patient care.
Yes.